I'll never forget the first couple of ads that I ran for some of our clients trying to generate demo requests, and it was a real struggle to make it happen on LinkedIn. In this video, I want to teach you some ideas, some timeless ideas, kind of tried and true tested ideas on ways you can use LinkedIn to generate demos. So if you're a SaaS founder, if you're an agency owner, or you work in-house for a SaaS company and you need to drive demos, then this video is for you. If you're wondering, who am I? Why listen to me? I am the founder of AdConversion. In addition to being a digital advertising academy, teaching B2B marketers how to scale ads with free courses taught by legit practitioners, I also run an agency where we run the ads for top product-led and sales-led SaaS companies like ActiveCampaign, Mixpanel, NetSpy, Checker, Warmly, DataGrail, the list goes on. So I have a lot of experience when it comes to using LinkedIn ads and managing seven-figure budgets with this objective in mind for pretty much 80% of all of our companies. They want to drive demos. So let's dive into it. Here's 14 tested ideas that you can leverage to drive more demos with your LinkedIn ad campaigns. Now, as a visual reference, I'm going to be going through this article that one of our team members, Alejandro, wrote. So you can refer to this. It'll be in the description box down below. And let's just kind of dive through it with some examples. So number one, if you want to drive demos on LinkedIn, you've got to use testimonials. Testimonials are just tried and true. They work. They are great at getting social proof over to your deals. Now, the biggest challenge when you're running ads on LinkedIn to generate demos, and really anywhere for that matter, but specifically LinkedIn, is you're dealing with the challenge of urgency. You're getting in front of the right accounts, the right people, but they might not actually be in market. So this is where, when it comes to B2B, it's very different, and the dynamics change compared to something like B2C, where sales cycles are much shorter. So staying top of mind is half the battle, and there's no better way to stay top of mind than through promoting social proof and using testimonials where you can have your customers speak on your behalf. So here's a cool example from Chili Piper that you can see here, where they're actually using a screenshot of a G2 testimonial as their ad. So this is a really cool way that you can leverage testimonials in your LinkedIn ad campaigns. Another cool example here is from Sendoso. This is kind of like a tried and true template and format. You have a picture of the person submitting the testimonial. Ideally, if you can showcase the brand. So in this case, it's a testimonial from Gong, which is a very notable SaaS company. So this adds a lot of weight to the testimonial that they have here. And then they're just using quotes to make it obvious that it's a testimonial. So tried and true, you can't go wrong with testimonials. Use them as much as possible. Use them in prospecting, use them in remarketing, and use them in acceleration as well when you're trying to go after open ops. So moving on, the second thing you can do is name the top companies you are working with. So this is something that I think most SaaS companies kind of do, and kind of do it too much to a certain extent. They over name drop, but there is a reason behind it. It's because it works. There's credibility by association, right? For example, when I started this video and I told you, hey, here's the kind of brands that we work with, like we know a thing or two about that, right? That adds credibility by association. The same is true with your ads. So in this case, you can see from Marketer Hire, they're name dropping all of the top brands that they work with, and they work with some pretty remarkable brands, right? Like Netflix, Lyft, Plaid, Quip, Roan, Thrive Market, I haven't heard of, but they work with some pretty legit brands, and they're making sure that you know about it. So they're saying people at these companies hire folks on our marketplace, so you should probably do the same, right? You're going to find success if it worked for them. So another really great way to get demos over the line. Here's another example of name dropping. You can see here, they're name dropping in the text instead of the actual creative visual. So Snowflake, Qualtrics, 6 Sense, they're mentioning the customers that they work with to leverage Mutiny and get a demo. So tried and true, name drop as much as you can and get credibility by association. Okay, third one here is to demonstrate why you're better than the competitors. And we have some pretty cool examples here. The emphasis here is not just to speak about it, but if you can showcase it in a very visual and creative way, even more powerful. So for example, here is a great comparison from Apollo and ZoomInfo and the creative that Apollo made. You can see here they very clearly show visually it's Apollo versus ZoomInfo, and with the same amount of different items underneath, they show the clear compare and contrast, right? So 98% email accuracy, limited data, all-in-one sales execution suite, fragmented tools, flexible contracts, upsell galore, 53% average reduction in cost, frustrating UX. Very clear to see before and after what's going on here. So really cool stuff here from Apollo. This can be really, really powerful at generating demos, especially when you are using some sort of intent platform or you have some sort of signal that you're operating off of where you know you're in evaluation, like your potential prospect is evaluating you against these competitors. So really, really cool use case. Moving on, another one from Apollo, they're doing some pretty good stuff here, is this one here, where they're visually showing the tech stack that they can replace by using Apollo. And they've creatively shown you how they've done that with this little arrow going through it. Like little things like this go a long way. And then also this is an actual, this is a mobile only ad because of the dimensions that they're using. That's why it looks so long here. So I'm sure they're testing this on mobile and then also on desktop. But this is another really cool creative way of showing how you compare against your competition. All right, number 4 is to highlight integrations with partner technologies. Integrations is a huge objection for top SaaS companies. Like a lot of users do not switch to new tools, not because of the benefit that they will get from the new tool. It's because of the pain from moving from their existing tool. They've kind of rooted their company into the existing tool. So getting them to switch it's a lot of effort and pain. So if you can showcase how you can help with the available integrations and to make that process more seamless, even better, right? So for example, here with Typeform, they're showcasing their integrations and the power of using Typeform and HubSpot together and what that was able to achieve, which is a pretty good one. And then here, similar format from Typeform, same exact creative template, but they're switching it up and they're showing what it looks like with Typeform and HubSpot. Adding on to this, I will also mention is the migration fears. So if you can also create creatives around demonstrating how your product is easy to migrate to and the integrations that support that can really be effective at getting people over the line to actually generate that demo request. All right, number 5, showcase your product. This sounds like an obvious thing, but it's not an obvious thing. And I can't tell you how many creatives and SaaS ads that we look at and clients that we take on. When we look at their ads and you don't understand anything about their product, you can't see into their product, you don't understand what it's like in their product. And at the end of the day, the better job you can do at letting users understand what the other side is like so they can see themselves there in your product, the easier it's going to be at getting a demo, a trial, or anything for that matter. So here's an example from Hockey Stack where they're actually showing you inside of the product to a certain extent. I think they could do more here and make it a video. Videos are really powerful for this type of format. But in this case, you can see here that they're showing you what it's like in their product and how you can identify the right people. So they're leveraging product mock-up illustrations to showcase that. Here's another example from Loxo, which is really good, where you can see very quickly their Chrome extension, and then you can see the dashboard, I would assume, of what it looks like in their actual tool. So this, again, really powerful because now just from seeing this creative alone, I can already visualize certain pieces of value that I might be able to receive from this tool and better understand what they're all about. So very, very important. Demonstrate your product. This is something that people in the e-commerce space do really well with unboxings, dramatic demonstrations. But when it comes to B2B and SaaS, we completely forget this. And at the end of the day, you're selling to people and the same psychology applies. All right, number 6, you want to stand out with humor. So this one, you have to kind of use your brand in mind or your client's brand in mind, but humor is a very powerful thing. If you can get someone to elicit an emotional response, you are going to do such a more effective job, not only at conversion, but also building brand affinity and trust. And you're going to become more memorable, right? If you actually got them to react in an emotional way, ideally a positive association, and there's nothing like it like humor. So you can see here from Chili Piper, they're using a cool little, I guess you can classify this as like a meme in a way, but it's like a before and after. And you can see here MQLs, they've got like all this spinach in the plate, and then over here in this side, there's like barely any, right? Like simple way to showcase humor with also you don't have to be outrageous. This is where you have to use your brand tone and message in mind, but being funny doesn't mean you have to be ridiculous. There's a discrepancy there, right? So use humor if possible because it is very powerful. Even better when you're creating your memes, your visual references, if you can tap into the things that are happening today in pop culture or just in the world and like big political news, and you can play on that could be really powerful as well because you can hit on a very timely nerve. Okay, moving on. Here's another really cool example of kind of what I'm talking about where you're taking something and then you're repurposing it. So if you look at this example here from Cognizant, I love this example. If you look closely and you're familiar with like the Drake meme where he's like, doing the dab and looking away, this is Drake, but they reformatted Drake into this like character. And maybe they did it for legal reasons. I'm not sure if they thought it would be like a compliance issue. But this is a cool way of taking something that is known in the world, right? Like that Drake meme is very known. Everybody kind of gets it for the most part. And remaking it in a new way, right? Where they've created this character. So this is a cool way of showcasing humor in your ads. All right, moving on is hyper personalized messaging. For all of you listening to this that are doing account-based marketing, pay attention, which should be most of you if you're running LinkedIn ads. And these are some great examples from User Gems where they are running hyper-personalized one-to-one ads for specific companies that they are trying to generate deals with. So for example, this one is for Deloitte, and you can see the creative is speaking to Deloitte in the actual image, and they're also calling out Deloitte specifically in the copy. If you're wondering how they're able to target this personalized on a one-to-one level, it's because they're using an individual LinkedIn campaign for every competitor that they want to talk to or every prospect they want to talk to. So basically they have one campaign for Deloitte in their LinkedIn ad manager, and they're building out all these individual one-to-one campaigns to be able to do this level of personalization. If you want to learn more about this approach, the one-to-one campaigns, let me know in the comments down below because it could definitely be a future video. But this is a really cool way of using that hyper-personalized messaging to drive more opportunities and deals and demos. Here's another one from Hockey Stack. Following the same exact logic, these one-to-one plays where they're saying, "Hey, Yext," and then they've got here Yext in their creative, and they're making it very clear that they're speaking to Yext. So if I'm somebody who works at Yext and I see this ad in my feed, I'm gonna be like, "Whoa, wait a second, that's gonna catch my eye, right? That's gonna grab my attention." So really, really powerful stuff there. Okay, number 8 is using statistics. So stats are really powerful, especially when they're believable. At the end of the day, people want to see the data to be able to make an informed decision, especially in B2B. You're dealing with long, complex sales cycles. These are not usually emotional impulse purchases. Giving people data to validate their decisions and logic is really powerful. So here's an example of statistics in your creative from User Gems, where you can see that they're calling out 3 times as previous customers convert, higher than normal leads, 70% of executives spend 70% of their budget in the first 100 days, and 50% of the companies miss key buyers in their account. So they're just cited stats, right? Which is really cool. And then they're driving people to a demo. All right, next example here is from Lavender, where they're showcasing some stats. So you can see here, sellers who use Lavender 2x their reply rate, and they're calling out the statistic here, send emails with confidence that 22% plus will get a reply. And then what I also like here that they're doing is they're also showcasing their product to a certain extent. So they're showing how it all connects visually, tying back to some of the other points that we mentioned earlier in this video. So really cool example. All right, this one gets a mixed bag of feedback, but it is very powerful if you want to drive demos, and that is using incentives. So the most common examples of leveraging incentives are things like Amazon gift cards, DoorDash gift cards, and so on and so forth. Here's an example from Metadata that they're using a $100 Amazon gift card in exchange for taking a demo. Now, the key here, and this could be a whole separate video if you want to learn more about incentives. I actually talk about incentives in my LinkedIn conversation ads tutorial, but I can do a separate video on it. But the key here is, like I always tell clients when they're considering using incentivized ads, we've seen great success with incentivized ads. Like we have one client, we're writing up a case study right now where we've generated over $2 million in qualified pipeline just from incentive ads. So it's really powerful if you can do it right. But the key here and the discrepancy, I will say, is you are not Santa Claus, okay? You're not just giving out gift cards to anybody. You're doing a very highly targeted campaign here, list of accounts, ICP fit, and you're making sure that this ad goes to those specific people. And then you also need to make sure you qualify in your copy and your creative so that they understand what they're signing up for and they understand if they qualify for the actual incentive. So maybe a conversation for another day, but incentives are a really powerful way to generate demos. This is an example from metadata. And then here's a cool way of using incentives in a creative way from Cognism, where because the Amazon gift card, especially in the MarTech space where it originated, is getting so overplayed, Cognism is positioning against it. And they're saying, forget the Amazon gift card, get 25 free leads instead. And here's the kicker here. What I love about this incentive offer is they give 25 free leads anyways, part of their core product anyways. So it's like, they're not expending anything else and they're positioning against something that's very known in their industry, which is really cool. And 25 leads is a very creative incentive that is very valuable because you get 25 free leads. That can mean a new deal. That can mean you can test the quality of their data set and so many other things. So don't think it just has to be an Amazon gift card or any variation of a gift card. You can get creative and think about your product. What is a unique opportunity you have to be able to offer some sort of incentive to get people to sign up for a demo? Now, just know, like I mentioned earlier in this video, the number one thing that is fighting against you at driving demos on LinkedIn and really just paid social is timing. Just because you get people to sign up for a demo through this offer, don't think that they're going to be in market and ready to purchase. It could be very different from the truth. So make sure that when you run these campaigns, you also operate from the frame of like, this is an awareness demo is kind of what we call it. And we're able to build a relationship with this person, nurture them. So that way 3-6 months down the line, when they are ready, they are in market, they actually remember you and hopefully they will move forward with you. So moving on, number 10 here is to show how much better life would be with your product. So here's a good example from Motion. They're a creative analytics platform and they're showing before and after. This is like a tried and true creative concept that you'll see a lot, especially in the SaaS space. And you can see here before Motion, if I just kind of zoom in here, it's an Excel spreadsheet in a laptop mockup. And then after is their tool. I think they could visualize this better because it's a little bit small and they've kind of restricted themselves to the dimensions of the laptop. So I think they could redo this ad. But the key here is that they're showing you before and after what is like with their product versus without. Very important. Going back to, can you paint the picture of, hey, here's what life is going to be like with my product versus without. The more you can do that and the more people can see themselves in the other side, the better off you're going to be. Okay, and the second example, which I think is really well done from WorkVivo, is this before and after comparison creative concept. And don't think it just has to be a before and after creative concept to showcase what life is like on the other side. There's a lot of other creative ways you can go about this, but this is a really cool tried and true concept for you to test. And you can see here before, it's like stacking all of these different facets of what you would need. And then after, how you would be able to do it with using their tool. So really cool stuff from WorkVivo. All right, moving on. Number 11, test ads in different languages. So this is really powerful. And the caveat here is you need to be able to sell in this language. So if your team can't sell in this language, it probably won't do you much good to get a demo with a person who speaks this language. But if you are usually a global brand or you have multiple sales reps that are able to support and sell in multiple languages, the same thing in terms of customer support, you can support that customer in multiple languages, then you should absolutely be considering this type of approach. And that is testing ads in different languages. So for example, here from PandaDoc, you can see here they are talking here in Spanish and they are promoting their product in Spanish and they're targeting people who speak Spanish and so on and so forth. Tons of associated cost benefits from this approach with these localization campaigns. So definitely recommend doing this if you have the option available. Here's another example from Miro, where they are advertising in a different language outside of English. So you can see here what that looks like. All right, number 12, and if you haven't gotten value already from this video, please do me a favor, like the video, comment, share, subscribe. Really helps us a lot. Keep these videos going, and we really just want to give you as much value as possible, as simply as possible. So that's why we do these videos in this format. So we just kind of get to the point. Number 12 is to announce a new product update. So this one can be really hit or miss, but it's worth saying because it's kind of tried and true. So if you need more demos and you just released a really sick product update, a new feature, something, a launch, this could be a really great opportunity to drive demos, especially if you can showcase it in a really good way. So here's an example from ZoomInfo that they launched a new product and they're promoting it. I think they could make this creative better in the sense of like, it's kind of buried what it's like on the other side. I would make that more of the showcase in the forefront, but allowing people to understand the benefits of your product you just released is definitely a tried and true concept. Okay, and then last but not least, we're almost to the end here. Number 13 is to list the features that your ICP would be most interested in. This is kind of like obvious and easy to do, but easy not to do. There are oftentimes in every application, every offer, there are certain specific points that make the difference on purchase or not. And the better understanding you have on like what are those points of when you showcase it in a demo, you usually get like aha moments, light bulbs, people get excited. What are those specific features? And sometimes they're like very, very small things that you take for granted, like filters. It could be as simple as filters, but it's very powerful for the user and what they want. Showcasing that is really helpful and powerful to drive demos. So in this case, they're showcasing their feature on desktop and mobile app, the chat and push notifications, and then being able to auto translate in 90 languages. That's like, whoa, and then from there you can of course click through and explore more and understand what's going on. One thing I will mention too, because everyone gets this wrong in SaaS when they're trying to drive demos, is remember as well, like the job of the ad is not to convert the user. That's the job of the landing page or the lead form. The job of the ad is to get the person to click. It's to break their pattern. It's to get their eye. It's to grab their attention. It's to get them to click so then they can go to the landing page to drive a conversion or the lead form. So don't make the mistake too of thinking, your ad has to do all of the lifting on its own. So just an important distinction here. Okay, and then finally here is to host a live demo. This is a really powerful one if you have a really good presenter. So in an example here from Metadata, they've got their head of sales doing a live demo and they're promoting a live demo to prospects. Even better if you're promoting this type of offer to people that are already product aware. So if they've been to your website and you're remarketing, if they've been to your high intent pages, this is a great offer to promote in front of them to get them to sign up for a demo, is doing a live demo. So you can, even better if you can do it with a customer, so then they can hear from an existing customer. That can be a really powerful way for you to drive more demo registrations for your SaaS company. I hope this video was helpful. If you want to get access to this document and all of the examples listed, I'll drop it in the comments down below for you, and you can check it out. And if you have suggestions for future videos, let me know. And if you want to learn how to level up your advertising skill set, if you're a B2B marketer, then definitely check us out at adconversion.com and join for free and get access to our free on-demand courses. I'll see you in the next video.